Hello, welcome to URC Unloaded with myself and John Barkley, who does return from a sabbatical, and my permanent sidekick, Stevie Ferris. Great to have you both back. John, how's it been? Where have you been? What have you been up to?
I can't hear you, lad, so just in case you're talking to me.
Should be on time, Steve. You would be able to hear us, I'll be honest. Tom, I'm very well. I was nowhere exciting. I was in London last week, and I was very hopeful that I'd get on the show, but as I proved to you, my flight was brought forward because the late one was cancelled. So I missed last week. It will be the last time this season.
So many times.
I'm trying, lads. I'm trying.
How was your scrum to scratch with Ryan Wilson?
Mate, it was good. Good.
Was it?
First round of the year played well, but
I've lost you. I've lost you slightly, John. It's for your Wi-Fi. I think you're probably kids.
This is going well.
Your kids are probably on Xbox, so maybe just give them a shout.
They're not. I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi.
Get off the Xbox! It's okay. We've only been doing this show for 3 or 4 years now.
It's on the way out. I'm trying.
We got 4 more years. 4 more years of URC, so we'll have to get you sorted with your Wi-Fi. But are you back? Can you hear us?
I think Stevie can't. Stevie's all over the shop here. This is what the people want.
We'll find out the reason why. We'll find out the reason why Stevie's late. But we believe it was because he was painting, which to me is not an excuse. It's probably one of the worst excuses ever. You can just drop the paintbrush, can't you? And get to your job.
Yeah, come back to it later.
It sounds too easy, but it doesn't matter because we've got another guest. We have got Cardiff Rugby's head coach, Matt Sherratt, who's going to join us. Matt Sherratt, as I live and breathe. How are you? Oh, we've got some technicalities today. Haven't we?
It's not just me.
You're back, Matt. Can you hear us? Over.
Yeah, it looks like it's really running smoothly, this, mate. I'm pleased that I get to this.
It's not like this every week.
Is this what you signed up for?
It's taken me 3 weeks to download Google Chrome, and now I'm on it, and I can't hear anything.
Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can hear you loud and clear now, mate.
Oh, good. Matt, how are you? How are you feeling after the weekend? Are you still buzzing?
Yeah, it was good. It's like a nice Friday night at the Arms Park. Always good atmosphere. Probably one of the best ones we've had as well, actually. Probably up there with the Sale at home a couple of years ago in terms of like the noise levels and the attendance. And then, as you know, it's always nice to have a Friday and then a long weekend. So no, it's been good back in today.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of emotion at the game on Friday as well because of the club going into administration. A lot of people coming out to support the club. The last home game as well, and that I felt that showed on the field. And it also, I think, you were quite animated post game as well. Was it a sort of a culmination of everything? A tough couple of weeks at Cardiff, and to get the win was, the icing on the cake.
Yeah, well, it was. It's obviously been a busy 2 or 3 weeks, really, and we don't usually come out with any kind of goals or points totals, but we did aim to try and get 10 points out of those 2 home games. So, to get them in the circumstances we had, and with probably the backdrop of what's been going on at the club over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and with how the game finished, I think we defended for about 4.5 minutes in the last set. So, yeah, it was a mixture of relief and probably a bit of pent up emotion, really.
Yeah, there's been a couple of real big defensive shifts. There was a big one against the Ospreys, wasn't there, towards the end of the game on Judgment Day. Another 10, 15-minute massive defensive effort towards the end of the Munster game. Is that something that's just, is it work rate? Is it emotion? Is it the last game of the season? Because, it was a big effort.
Yeah, I think probably a little bit of all of that, really. But in general, and it's hard to put a finger on it, and we don't really do anything gimmicky to get there. But the players just seem they're pretty good. They're get the balance right in terms of having a and also getting the work done. I think you can just see as a group of enjoy.
We're sorry about this. If you're struggling to hear Matt, there seems to be a bit of a Wi-Fi issue at the moment.
What's been pretty important, reminding them that it's a function of all of those, and probably over the last couple of weeks. But you know the Welsh psyche, sometimes they've probably got a little.
Yeah, we're slightly losing you. Sort of keep dipping in and out slightly, but I think we got the point of the psyche and what it meant to the players. What about your attack, Matt? It's functioning pretty well. It has functioned pretty well most of the season, but you're a team that scores tries early, whether it's first phase, but you tend to score within, I think, 4 or 5 phases. You hit them quickly.
Yeah, you've been hanging around the club again, because that was our meeting this morning, actually. Well, I think we're top of the league in the URC for scoring within the first 3 phases. So we're top for that. I think it's mainly from line out. We can improve probably our counter attack and our transition stuff for the first 3 phases. But yeah, we don't like. I'm not a massive multi-phase fan, really. I think we try and be quite aggressive, and to try and score quite early in sets is our principles, really.
Matt, I was just going to ask you, tough run into the season, having to go away to South Africa first. We've asked a number of coaches this, is there a points tally you think gets you into the top 8?
Before the 2 games that we've just had, we've kind of talked around a fight for 50. So if you look at the league over the last 4 or 5 seasons, 50 points pretty much guarantees you top 8. We're 46, I think, at the moment. So on paper, we need a win. But I think this year, because that middle of the table is so competitive, it may be around the 47, 48 mark. But I think going to South Africa, you're mistaken if you go there and talk about trying to just score 4 tries. I think that's when it can get a little bit messy, because they're so good in terms of the transitional stuff. So if you get too loose, you can be on the end of a 50-pointer quite quickly. So our goal is to go there and pick up 2 wins, and we'll get chances. It's just making sure we take our chances if we do need to pick up bonus points. Yeah, but 50 points was probably the magic number. I'm hoping that it's more towards 47, 48.
Yeah, I think that could be right when you look at the running and a lot of the teams below you. It's going to be a real tough and exciting running. Matt, talk to me about a couple of the players that I'm going to mention now. Harry Millard and Gabe Hamer-Webb, not probably the household names that you'd associate with Cardiff, but 2 players that have been performing out their skin recently.
Yeah, I think it just shows you what a run of games can do for any player, especially with outside backs. Obviously, I always think outside backs and back rowers probably pick up the most injuries. So for them to put 4 or 5 games together, it probably just shows that they've found some form. Harry Millard, when I was at the club in, I think it was 2015-16, he was the one that I thought would come through next. He's been really unlucky with injuries, Harry. So he's been injury-free, and I think he's top of the scoring charts in the URC, isn't he? And same with Gabe. And there's a lot of it in the game at the moment. Gabe got released from Bath, his boyhood club, went to New Zealand and played a little bit of wing in 15, and come to Cardiff with a point to prove. And again, that he's probably shown that in the last couple of weeks. He's had 3 or 4 games on the bounce, and he's proved the point, hasn't he? So, and behind that, obviously, we got Josh Adams, we got Theo Cabango to come back, and Mason Grady. So it's an area we're blessed in, and Ewan Stevens, sorry.
Yeah. Tom Bowen as well, who's featured a little bit through the season as well. Before we let you go, Matt, I mean, how's it been this season for you on a personal level? How would you rank it? Because there's been a lot going on. You've been head coach of Cardiff. Cardiff gone into administration. You've coached Wales. There's a chance, the word on the street is you might be involved maybe in the summer tour. I just read that in the Wales Online, so it's got to be true. How's it been for you?
Yeah, it's been pretty busy, but I've got to say, it has been enjoyable as well. It's as you know, I enjoy coaching Cardiff. It's a good club. It's good people there as well. It is genuinely a place where you drive into work and the staff are good people. Everyone gets on socially. So I've enjoyed being head coach of Cardiff. The last couple of weeks, probably had to deal with some stuff off the pitch I'd prefer not to, but I knew pretty early on that the club was in safe hands with the WRU coming in. And the Welsh stuff I loved as well, in terms of the it's a privilege and obviously really honoured to be able to do it. So I'm sure in a couple of months when I get some downtime, I'll probably reflect, and it has been a bit of a whirlwind, but on the whole, it's been an enjoyable season.
Well, look, have a really good tour to South Africa. I hope 46 points is enough for you to qualify. I hope you get a win out there to guarantee qualification into the playoffs and also the Champions Cup. And with everything going on, good luck with the rest of the season.
Yeah, I might see you in Villamora still as well. You never know.
Oh, we hope so. We hope so. That'd be great. That'd be the icing on the cake, wouldn't it?
That's what I don't go into the same place. I don't go into the same type of place as you do, Shanks, but I'll probably see you in the day, I'd imagine.
You don't go to the restaurants, do you, like me? The long lunches. Right. See you later. Oh, yeah. Sorry for the listeners. Sorry for the listeners for any sound issues we had there. There were slight problems with Wi-Fi. Have we got Stevie Ferris back?
I'm here. Just about.
Okay, you're back. Right. Could you just give us the reason why you're late and what's going on?
I had the barbecue on, Shanks, and my mum called around, who was looking after my little girl, and my mum was sitting chatting away to me, and the painting was out, the glitter was out, so yeah, and then Ben rang me and was like, oh shit, I'm running late.
Okay, so you just forgot. You just forgot.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I wasn't like JB, who went out to shoot like a golf vlog with Ram Barkley, like for missing the pod. Like, I actually had an excuse.
That's not.
I'm not sure about that.
You just forgot. You just forgot.
Yeah, that's the classic deflection as well. Just if I'm going down and dragging anyone with me, you just forgot, Stevie. You were painting, and that's fine. Just own it and move on. It's fine.
Yeah. Look, before we create
I apologize.
We'll crack into round 16 chat. Cardiff, Munster. We covered it slightly there. I don't know if you watched the game, Stevie, but I thought Cardiff were really good. I think they scored quickly. They were efficient when they had ball in hand. Yellow card really hampered Munster. Became a penalty try. Set piece try for Cardiff. Left hand scrum went down the right hand side. Came back, scored a nice try in the left hand corner. Gabe Hamer-Webb scored it. A real nice tip on from Ben Thomas. Then they run the ball out of their own 22 straight away. There's a yellow card. Crossfield kick. Lovely bounce. Hamer-Webb offloads to Falatau, puts it inside to Millard. And it was just, I just think, Steve, there might have been a bit more emotion there with Cardiff with everything that's gone on, with the club going into administration, a full house, a packed house, a lot of support. Last game there in the Arms Park for the season, players leaving, and a big, big win for Cardiff, because you don't see many teams in Wales beating Irish opposition anymore.
No, you don't, Shanks. I was impressed by Cardiff, and for some reason I fancied Cardiff before the game kicked off. Munster just on a bit of a slump after that Bordeaux defeat, obviously in the Champions Cup. And that's 3 defeats on the bounce now. Again, their coaching ticket's coming under a bit of pressure. There's just, I think Tag Byrne after the game was furious about some of the refereeing decisions that were made. They certainly got on the wrong side of the referee on numerous occasions. And yeah, when, Falatau is playing out of his skin, some of the big players, Shanks for Cardiff, are playing really well. They can mix it up. They play a nice
Scrum's
brand,
good.
they throw it around.
Scrum's good.
Yeah, they throw it around. At home, the crowd really got behind them. So I didn't watch the game, but I listened to the commentary, and by all accounts, Munster struggled again at line-out.
Massively, Stevie. Hugely
Yeah.
struggled at line-out. Couldn't get anything going at all. Been a bit of an issue, really. And I thought, come the second half, Munster scored first. I thought, oh, here we go. Munster are going to run away with it, because they did have a strong team out. But look, Cardiff came back, put a lot of pressure on them. A couple of nice tries. And there were some decisions that went Cardiff's way. But often, on the flip side, they're on the end of bad decisions as well. So
yeah, Shanks, I know you might bring it up, but it's an interesting talking point where the actual Irish sides are at the minute, and there's a potential case that only one of the Irish sides might make it into the top 8. Now, the likelihood of that happening is pretty slim, but it's amazing to see that the Welsh sides have improved so much over the last 12 months and are really stamping a bit of authority on the league, because at the minute Irish rugby looks like, when you look at Leinster or Munster, Connacht and Ulster, that they're sort of slipping away a small bit. So it's a huge weekend this weekend, Shanks. I know we'll get on to those games, but the likes of Munster really got to start ticking, or else their URC season could be over pretty quickly.
Yeah, we'll have a look at the preview to next weekend at the end of this. John, Glasgow 19, Bulls 26. See that one coming?
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Guys,
really interested in that, John. Your
Yeah,
Wi-Fi's
mate.
gone again, mate. Yeah, no, your Wi-Fi.
What's going on here?
Don't know, John.
I'm back now.
John. Yeah, you're back a bit, but I mean, it's a shambles. This show today.
Hold on, let me try something.
Technology's let us down a little bit.
I'm coming back.
Okay, we'll move on to Scarlet's 35.
Oh,
Leinster
no.
22. Now,
No.
we didn't pick that as a winner. We didn't pick Cardiff as a winner against Munster last week. I didn't see it coming, but I mean, I was so impressed with the Scarlets.
Yeah.
You know, I get Leinster weren't firing and it was their maybe second stroke third team, but that's the team they chose to put out. You know.
Oh, hold on, Shanks. Hold on. They had Cian Healy, Kelleher, Clarkson, Baird, like 4 internationals in the front 4. Then they had Will Connors, who's been unbelievable. James Culhan, who was excellent the week before. Ross Byrne, internationals in their backs. Frawley,
but they don't all start for Leinster. That's my point being.
No,
they're not all probably first choice.
But
when
I seen the weather, Shanks, when I was seeing a bit of sunshine, nice dry track, I was just, I fancied the Scarlets just before kickoff. I fancied the Scarlets.
You keep saying that. Well, why didn't you call it on the show then?
Listen, my Ladbrokes account tells me I'm right.
It's easy in hindsight. It's so easy in hindsight. But it was a shaky start because Sam Costello was his first start back from injury. He misses one in front of the post straight away, and you think, ooh, then he gets charged down as soon as they've scored a try. And I was thinking, oh, no, please don't. But he manages to get it back. But Tame Plumtree was man of the match. Class. Yeah. Really good. Breakdown, good. Carrying, good. Defensively, good. Lovely little tip on by Henry Thomas, who coincidentally has the same hair as Jamie Roberts. The same Plumtree. Put him through a hole. Back on the inside of Gareth Davis. Then there was a crossfield kick from Costello. Pinpoint right into the space. Roger scores. But I think the killer blow for Leinster was Plumtree's intercept. Yeah.
They have a habit of doing that.
That was the one. Yeah.
Fafita has a habit of doing that too. But Plumtree, 14 carries, 90 meters made. We've talked about him on the pod before over the last season or two that he can be clumsy, gives away the odd stupid penalty, offside at the breakdown, just sometimes can't help himself. But I thought he was absolutely excellent. And what do you think, Shanks? 43 points at the minute. Scarlets obviously have to go away to South Africa. Do they have a chance? Can they get something out of those games?
Well, we say they didn't have a chance against Leinster, so you have to say, yeah, they do have a chance. It's good to go to South Africa, bit of confidence. And if you want to break down a blitz defense, this is the only. Well, there's quite a few negatives to blitzing, but if you're able to get on the outside, like Blair Murray did on the outside of Jamie Osborne, if you slightly miss time your defensive line, then you're cooked. You can't recover. And nice little bit of footwork from Blair Murray. Goes on the outside of Osborne, plays it, a beautiful ball inside of Joe Roberts, score. So that's the downside to that blitz, that really high press that Leinster do. And I thought the Scarlets managed it wonderfully. And I also thought Johan Lloyd come on and kicked really well.
Yeah.
Nice
Yeah, no, I thought they deserved their win. It was
Johnny,
impressive.
you back?
I'm back, I think. I think I'm back.
Okay. Well, you're gonna tell us about Glasgow 19, Bulls 26. Any thoughts on the game?
Yeah, well, I did, but I got cut out. But yeah, I just don't think Glasgow are anywhere near where they were last year. And I think you look at what Leinster did to them in that European quarterfinal, and Bulls, who don't normally do that high press, did the same thing. And Keenan Moody was a nuisance like throughout the game. I've had a complete mind blank of who the loose head prop was he was unbelievable. Try saving tackle first phase, and he was in the scrum. So I don't know how he got to it. He was smashing boys. Mate, it was ridiculous. So Bulls looked good. They didn't play a lot of rugby, but they didn't have to. They were in control of the game. Glasgow scored a couple near the end. It's that old thing. If the game had been 5 minutes longer, maybe they might have had a chance, but it wasn't. So more injuries for Glasgow though. Jack Mann, they lost. Gregor Brown, they lost. Jack Mann's leaving to Gloucester, I just saw as well. So they're missing still. No sign of Tui Pilotu, Hugh Jones, Xander Fagerson, Jack Dempsey.
Dempsey's out. Yeah, he's big for it.
Yeah, they're missing a load, and they're just not where they were. So they're in second. The big talking point I thought was that the Bulls could have kicked 3 points at the end to take away a losing bonus point, and I don't know if they realised because they just kicked it out. And Jake White said, with respect to Glasgow, in case they went the length of the pitch and scored. But as it sits, Glasgow are a point ahead of them. So I just wonder if that will be costly in the end. But Glasgow have got a reasonable run, and they've got Leinster away, which is not reasonable, and Zebre, I believe.
Yeah, so Bulls could easily get 10 points from the next two games, and I think the points difference is in favour of Glasgow. So
yeah, massively. But who have the Bulls got to play? They've got
Cardiff and Dragons both at home.
So they're getting. I don't know. You'd imagine they might get 10 points from that.
Yeah, you think so? A team that just came back right at the last minute to seal a draw was Edinburgh. I mean, I love Zebre are great to watch. Honestly, they're such a good team to watch now.
No, it's good. Like they're on 5 wins and a draw now, and they could have. It's not like the games that they're losing. They're getting. They still take the odd hiding, but not compared to previous years. Edinburgh shouldn't have drawn the game. Realistically, trying the 82nd minute with a kick
as well.
Kick was so good,
but I just think Edinburgh is kind of just wasteful with the ball, get turned over so easily. Like that period where Zebre had the ball and not going anywhere, and Edinburgh here's penalties, here's yellow cards. You're like, they're a frustrating side to watch, Edinburgh. So I kind of expected Zebre to win that pre-game, if I'm honest. And during the course of the game, there was no real reason to doubt that. So no, but you got to say a little bit of tip of the cap to Edinburgh for just like sticking in there, coming back, getting 2 points. But I just don't think that'd be enough. They're on 39 points, and they've got a reasonably tough run as well. So
Connaught away and Ulster home, and you just think they're going to need 6 points, possibly 7. They're going to need a bonus point win and maybe a losing bonus point somewhere. So look, it is going to be tough. The Lions beat Connaught 26-7.
Oh, scrum fest!
Yeah,
scrum fest. It was horrendous. The pitch was so bad as well. It had obviously pissed down for the previous week. Just scrum after scrum, mistake after mistake. And unfortunately for the Lions, they only scored 3 tries in the game. Didn't get the maximum 5 points, which they certainly would have needed. They're sitting on 35 points at the minute in the table. They've got the Scarlets at home and the Ospreys at home. So you'd maybe back them to get a couple of wins there, but can they get the maximum points that they need? They obviously, lads, missed out by 1 point last season, and it would be horrendous like if they got to the last round in the last minute and they miss out by another point. But yeah, they just had a bit too much for Connacht. Connacht obviously put in a brilliant performance the week before. Shanks, I said last week that I fancied Connacht to maybe overturn them, but they just looked fatigued, looked tired, didn't really fire a shot. And the Lions thoroughly deserved the victory.
I'll tell you who we spoke about, Stevie, was that we possibly thought might do better than they did was Benetton. After their win last week, we're sort of thinking, this is the big test for them. Can they back it up again? And not many teams can do that. 2 wins in a South Africa tour, and they were slaughtered. I mean, again, Sasha Feinberg and Gomazulu was
ridiculous.
Awesome.
What about that try? They offload out the back.
Yeah, doesn't need to do it. Doesn't need to do it. Does he?
But he can. He can.
I know. He's got to be. He's got to be. I think close to being number one.
Mate, they're peaking at the right time. The Stormers are peaking at the right time.
Yeah.
And the players that they have back, Gallant was obviously back as well. He's been in and out this season a small bit.
Willemse was back as well. Yeah. So I mean they got pace and they got everything. When it clicks, they're such a good team, but they're so up and down. Doesn't quite. They don't have that level of consistency that we're used to seeing with them this season, I don't think. But when they get it right, one of the best around.
Class. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Connacht obviously licked their wounds and move on. Or sorry, Benetton obviously licked their wounds and move on. But Benetton's still in a pretty strong position, Shanks. I know you did you tip them not to?
No, I didn't. Yeah. They're 41 points. They've got Glasgow at home and Munster away. But
Glasgow aren't playing well.
No, I know. Nor Munster.
No, but I don't think Benetton will beat Glasgow in Glasgow. I think you'd expect a few of those guys to be coming back.
Yeah.
But it's
Benetton versus Glasgow in Benetton.
Yes.
Are you sure?
No, I think it's Benetton, Glasgow. Yeah, they've got Glasgow home.
Yeah, they've got Glasgow at home.
Yeah.
And then away to Munster.
Hi. Hey, Stevie.
Yep.
Think about this. The team goes 19-0 up at home and they'll end up losing it. Play a game. Who am I?
Who are we talking about?
Oh, Shanks, I actually messaged a friend of mine on Saturday after I got home, and we were watching the boxing and just back and forth on Messenger, and he says, how did the match go? I said, Ulster were 19-0 up and they lost 22-19. And his reply straight back was, how does that even happen?
Tell us how. Well, it's a great start from Ulster.
Yeah. Oh, mate, they were flying. Come out of the blocks. It's been the story of their season. I was commentating on the game. 16, 17 degrees, sunshine coming down. What a night for rugby. And in fairness, the crowd come out to support the lads as well. With a big crowd in Belfast. But it's been the same old story. The Bordeaux home game in the Champions Cup. 15, 20 points on the scoreboard. And then they just fell away. And then, of course, in the next couple of games after that, they've been conceding early doors. So it really was this marker laid down to get out of the blocks early. And they did that. And the Sharks, genuinely, I thought that was them. They were so out on their feet. Like Oxenche was a disgrace for 40 minutes. and then he just found like a second wind. And it was as if they went in at halftime and they got the defibrillators out and they all got re-energized and the boys got back out. Yeah.
South African Twitter are going to be after you after that comment, mate. I'll tell you that about Oxenche. Just watch out. Looking at that team, that team.
They
say every week, that team is ridiculous. And if they're going to be in the playoffs. They just need 3 good. I think they've maybe got the best team on paper, apart from Leinster. And you think they need to put 3-4 games together to win this thing. It's not.
They've done so well. Snuck a win against Edinburgh. Again, came back from 90-0 down, beat Ulster. That's a hell of a tour for them. 2 home
But
games now.
I'm telling you now, there is something with having to travel over to this side. Because in the first half, as you've seen, John and Shanks, in the first half against Edinburgh, they were shocking. They were out on their feet as well. And generally, if they had been playing Leinster or a fully stacked Glasgow team the other night, they would have been 50 down at halftime. Like, seriously, they were so bad. But all credit to them. They got a nice try before halftime. That gave them a lifeline. And then they come out and were re-energized, made a few changes. Fassi was good at fullback, and Jenkins was good in the second row. Khaleesi was pretty good.
Esterhazy carried hard.
Yeah, the loose head prop that come on. Who was he?
Juno.
No, the other guy. Mtuno was brilliant, but the other guy.
Jacob.
Jacob. Oh my God, lads, he was ridiculously good. He gave them so much go forward with ball carrying. And you know what Ulster's like, lads, when you hold on to the ball against them, inevitably you're going to score, and that's what they did. And there was a really stupid, daft penalty in the last couple of minutes by Matty Ray, I think it was, not rolling away. And the referee told him, in fairness, to get out of the road, and he just sort of lay there. I don't actually think that he realised the ball was right beside his leg. He thought it was on the other side of the ruck, but even still, he didn't make an effort. And Ulster get beaten 22-19, Shank. So, yeah, really disappointing. But I think a few green shoots there, especially with that first half with Ulster. And also their scrum held up really well for the most part against the fully fledged international front row.
Yeah, they're 12th at the moment now, 38 points. They've got Munster away and Edinburgh away.
I think they're done, Shanks.
Two away games, yeah. I think that's going to be a real
because
tough
Munster need a win so bad this weekend, and then when it gets to the last weekend, Edinburgh at home, last home game, blah blah blah. They're going to desperately need to win, so I just think it's all stacked against Ulster.
Yep, I agree. Ospreys 57, Dragons 24. Half time, it was 14-10 to the Ospreys. 43-14 was the score in the second half. Really disappointed with the Dragons in the second half. They folded. Massive performances, I thought, from Evadi Boshoff. I thought defensively he was really good. Daniel Kasande was awesome in the air. Him and Keelan Giles were so good. Really good. Like every kickoff, Kasande nearly took. He took, I think, 3 in the end or 4. 2 of them led to tries. Keelan Giles was brilliant on his feet. Looked such a live wire. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets called into the Welsh squad to tour Japan. And Dan Edwards,
he's a player, Shanks. Just when it's dry and sun's out, different. I know it's obvious. Most players are the back 3 player, but he's a complete different player. Those types of guys, and same with some of the Scarlets guys. You see there's so much more of them when the weather turns around. Not really adding much to conversation, but I just think the Dragons can add a lot to the games, and just in winter they lack that power, and they don't get the ball in space and in time.
No, they don't. And you know, your footwork's a lot easier when it's dry, and you can use that. And he was really good with his feet, I thought, Keelan Giles. Kieran Hardy played really well at 9 as well. He was player of the match. His box kicking was outstanding, but the Ospreys' attack was so much better. It wasn't so deep. I think you mentioned last week, Stevie, didn't you, about how deep they were attacking? A lot more flatter this week, and they got a lot more reward for it. So massive win for them. Puts them at 38 points, but they've got Sharks and Lions away. So
tough.
Another tough ask. Anyway, that was round 16 review. We've done player of the round.
It has to be Ngoma Zulu again.
Did we give it to him last week?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
But will we pick someone else?
Nah, give it to him.
He was so good. He was so good.
Well, that's what I mean. We're not giving away.
I'd give it to Tame Plumtree.
Yeah, that's not bad chat. Not bad chat.
Just because, like, I think we all expected the Stormers to beat Benetton. Maybe not by as much, but I just think in terms of like victories, the Scarlets and some of the big games, I think that was huge for them. So
I go. Yeah, so I'm going to just change my mind. Yeah, I think Plumtree. I think you're right. I hadn't thought about it in the context of who they're playing. So yeah.
Well, somebody Shanks who I didn't give a mention to was Jacob Stockdale.
Oh, what? Yeah, yeah.
Like in defeat, he was without the best player on the pitch by a mile, and he was just back to his former self. Confidence, strong, his running game, his lines that he was hitting, his kicking game. Just stupidly get given that yellow card, which I'm still not 100% sure what it was for. But yeah, let the team down a little bit there just with a bad decision. But just a shout out to him, because if he can keep that form going, he'll definitely be on the summer tour.
Lions.
with Ireland.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Not
Don't
yet.
get ahead of yourselves.
No, well, yeah, no, he played really well. Now, big news came out recently that there's 4 more years signed with Premier Sport with the URC, but also the Japanese League and the MLR, Major Rugby League in America. And to tell us about that, we have got Technical Director Will Hooley on the show. Hey, Will, how are you?
Fellas, I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Great to be on. Thank you.
You're in America and you've got the best connection so far.
Yeah.
We've had John Barkley, who's got
I'm
the worst
back,
connection, lives in Edinburgh. We've had Matt Sherratt, worst connection, lives Bristol area, I think. Now, Will, former Saints, Exeter, Saracens. Am I right thinking you're a World Cup winner as well?
Well,
right?
I mean,
Right.
if we talk about England under 20s, if that's even included, yeah, don't be fooled by my
Hey,
accent.
they all count.
They all count, don't they? Indeed, man. Yeah, I proudly represented the US as well through my grandmother. Bless her. Thank God for her, because that enabled me to play international rugby. So, but unfortunately, Shanks, I did not win a game at the World Cup in US colours. But nonetheless, yeah, I'm a has-been now. That was my former self.
Welcome to the club, mate. You're in good company here. So tell us about your role now with the MLR.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a jack of all trades and master of none. That's probably the best way of putting it. But involved in the media side of things here with Major League Rugby. Got sort of brought in when I hung up my boots, 2023 Championship final. I played for San Diego Legion. We lost in that final, which it was a hard pill to swallow. But nonetheless, got brought into the business, working. Do broadcasting at the games with the weekend, and then also part of sort of media partnerships and as I say, really sort of a jack of all trades. It's something I love, but at the same time, it's as you guys know, rugby is a tough sell, and when you got to try and sell it here in America, it's I would say doubly tough, but also doubly rewarding as well.
Well, sorry, Shank. Well, just on that point, the US is obviously saturated with NFL, with baseball, basketball. How big a challenge is it to get rugby to a certain level where it's going to be financially beneficial to the clubs and to attract better players and get the MLR really up and running?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's tough. I mean, look, I think as soon as you start comparing it with the NFL or the NHL, the NBA, that's almost where the conversation almost has to stop, because you're never going to compete with those giants. I mean, their own rights are so big. But the thing is with America is that the sporting landscape, the sporting market also is so big. You tap into a percentage of that, Stevie, and you potentially change the game globally. And I think that's what people get excited about the US. It's certainly something which I'm excited about and wanted to help grow the sport. But also just the reality is geography. I think that's one thing which I think maybe some people overseas don't completely understand. And I know with the URC, you obviously have the Wales, Scotland, Ireland, and the Italians and the South Africans. But I suppose when you're trying to build a brand new league in the United States, geography is also one of those challenges as well. It's not just up the M1. I remember my days, playing for Northampton Saints. You went to Leicester Tigers, and literally you're only half an hour away. We're talking about 5-6 hour flights just for a game at the weekend. And next week you might be on a 3-hour flight to somewhere in Texas. So, but what I would say to be positive about it is that there has been an absolute growth, not just in the league, but also in rugby generally in America. I think particularly here, I'm based in San Diego, in Southern California. Grassroots rugby is doing really well.
Wales vagina.
Yes, that is also probably renowned more, Shanks. Well put in there for all our Anchorman fans. But like, it's honestly, it's a tough gig to get right. But a lot of work has been done. It's still moving in the right direction. You'd like those sort of increases happening sooner rather than later. But that World Cup in 2031 is obviously the light at the end of the tunnel.
And just on the league, how is the league? How are the teams finding it? Obviously, back over here, you hear of maybe a franchise or two, falling by the wayside, and then it sort of kicks off again. It's almost like it feels like it's all go, and then you hear of a little bit of bad news, and obviously you want to try and put a positive spin on it. So how is the league as it currently stands?
Yeah, look, it's strong. We have 11 teams at the moment, and yes, a couple of teams were lost in the last sort of year or two. But again, if I sort of take you to the landscape of American sport, that's not uncommon. I mean, let's look at the NFL, for example. There's transitions in cities all the time. I think where I am in San Diego, there was a San Diego Chargers one day, and then next thing you know, they've moved to LA. It is a bit different how it works. You have to try and find those right markets. And in my opinion, the biggest thing that we can do in Major League Rugby is make sure by 2031, we're in the right cities. And that might mean that you drop a couple because it's not working as well. Ownership groups change, whatever it might be. There is some excitement and some good talks happening at the moment about potentially an add-on for an add-on team in the future. And those are all things which are exciting. So I'm not sure that completely answers your question, but it is in a good place. The rugby on the field has grown massively. I can say that as a former player, but also now watching it a lot of the weekend with broadcast. And then the business side of things as well. We're now really trying to manufacture ourselves as a streamlined business, and at the point where we're wanting to be self-sufficient. And that's going to take time still, but we're certainly moving in the right direction.
Well, just looking back, I don't know, it probably was 2 or 3 years ago looking at it, and there were some big names, flying over to America. Matt Gittos, Adam Ashley Cooper, Chris Robshaw went over there. Seems to be less of that. Is that a strategic decision by the league? Because obviously money's an important part of growing the game over there, or is it a business decision?
Yeah, look, I think another great question, John. I mean, it was great. I played with Martin Nonu when I was playing at San Diego Legion. Insane. I mean, literally, like, he was playing inside me, and I was just like, "What the hell? This guy's a double World Cup winner." And by the way, when I was playing with him, back then, he still had it at the age of
still plays now.
Oh yeah, I know. He's still putting those seeds across people's faces for try assists for too long. Yeah, look. I think that is good, and I think there is still room. I think we've got to be cautious that these guys coming to the end of their careers and coming over, the Americans don't know Martin Nonu. Yeah. The Americans don't know Chris Robshaw, and to be honest, don't really give a crap about it. I don't know if we can swear on it.
Oh, but he does it all the time.
But like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not really about that. I think what I would want to see is if we are bringing a name over and making sure that on the field they are, yes, delivering, but also off the field. What are they doing in terms of their community? Are they working with local rugby clubs? Are they putting their knowledge into, the young players in their team? And Marta, by the way, was fantastic with that, particularly with the knowledge that he gave the young American players. That's invaluable. But at the same time, you're bringing someone over from overseas, you're paying for their visas, you may be paying for the visas of the family members as well. If their bodies are not right and they're not up to it, the one thing I would say about MLR is it's not a Mickey Mouse league anymore. The reality is that it's tough rugby. You speak to any of the guys. I mean, a good friend of mine, Ollie Devoto, played for England, Exeter Chiefs, comes over now. He's doing really well at Chicago Hounds. I caught up with him the other week. And he says, this is tough. Like, this is physical. The ball in play is up high now because we're sort of midway of the season. It always takes a little bit of time. There's only small pre-seasons for MLR. So I think, yes, there's scope to bring the names in, but I would say we've got to be focused more probably actually on the younger generation in terms of the quality on the field and not just having someone at the back end just trying to get an experience and not bought into the vision, if that makes sense. I think that has been experienced in some players and some teams in previous years.
So, yeah, well, it's interesting. I'd never thought about it like that. The fact that, you're bringing World Cup winners and superstars over, but actually the people in America maybe don't know or don't care. Just to piggyback that, I saw on your Instagram, you had like Jocko Willink. You hear the Kelsey brothers talking about it on their podcast. It's important that you've got advocates and I don't want to say ambassadors, but people who are endorsing the game that maybe aren't playing the game as well.
John, if I had a bankload of cash available to me to go and create content, I wouldn't probably touch rugby players. I'd be going into the worlds of, you know, the stars out there, the crossover sports. That's what we also really need to do. We need to try and borrow. And sometimes I think people might be like, well, what do you mean? Like, no, what I mean by that is like go into, you know, the NFL, try and speak to the WWE, try and speak to the NBA to try and like bring our sport. Because I think when people see our sport in the US, they love it. They like, you have to put it in front of them. But how are you going to put it in front of them? Well, you kind of need to really go out there, showcase rugby with those different markets. I mean, Jocko Willink's been that opportunity that I had, which was amazing. And I don't know how many people maybe know Jocko, but his connections with the military. And the military has actually a really good connection with rugby. I know, obviously, in the UK and Ireland, but also here in the US. So if you try and find those ways, and by the way, let's talk quickly about Alona Marr. She's found that. She's an absolute revelation for all of us. We're lucky to have her because she's gone into those markets through one way or the other to the A-list Hollywood world. And then rugby started to be put in front of them. They're like, oh, okay. And then it gets recognized. So you have to think outside the box out here. And I think maybe rugby should be doing that everywhere in the world. But in the US in particular, we've got to do it more than others, probably.
Well, we are super pumped to watch it. And Premier Sports will be showing 2 games a week. Will, just before we let you go, you speak very well. You speak very clearly. You spent a lot of time in America. Do you ever sort of slip into a little American accent now and again?
You know, no, honestly, man, I do my best not because I get away with a lot with the English accent. It goes down really, really well. It does. And my wife's also English, and we, you know, hope to be having kids soon. And here in America, we're just thinking, like, oh no, what accent are they going to come up with? You know, like, I really want them to keep hold of the English accent, but
mom, dad,
yeah. No, there's a few bits of lingo. There's like, it's funny when they say, if you ask for just water, if you pronounce the T, it's like you're speaking another language. So, you know, even things like that, you got to say water. And some of my friends, when they come out to the US, hear me say that, or lingo like trash. You can't call it the bin or rubbish. And they're like, what are you on about? Or gas. Never call it petrol anymore. It's little things like
Fanny.
Oh dear. Yeah. It's it's a bit different, but you got to love the Americans. They do love the Brits as well. So
on that note, we'll let you go. Will, thanks so much for joining us.
Cheers, Will.
Pleasure to speak to you.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
What a lovely conversation.
What a nice speaker.
I know. It just,
I know we can hear it.
LNMLR.
Yeah, I love the background. Love the background.
Love that.
That's what's letting us down. Stevie's in some sort of bed.
Yeah.
PVC headboard. Easy to wipe down.
Yeah. So if you stay
boys, 2 games a week. Premier Sports will be showing. So really looking forward to watching that and catching up with that. It seems really exciting. Standard seems to be getting better and seems to be a good buzz around it. Rants of the week. Anyone got a rant of the week? I've got one. Wi-Fi issues. We've got a guy all the way in San Diego and he is clear as water. Well, I got a guy coming on late whose sound doesn't work because he's been painting and chatting to his mum and cooking a barbecue. One guy's Wi-Fi is just up and down like his personality.
It's good now, though, right? It's good. I think I figured it out. And I asked before the show in my defense, is it meant to be on Chrome?
It's a bit echoey, but I think, look, if we want to take this show to the next level,
yeah, I'll sort it out.
Let's invest. All right. That's my rant. Steve, you got a rant?
No, my back's sore. I haven't been able to play golf this week.
It's always sore.
Did you play golf this week, Shanks?
Yeah, I played this morning.
I can see the clubs in the background there.
Oh, there they are,
yeah. Lovely.
So injury, your rants. John, got a rant?
Sauna's not working.
Sauna's working, don't worry about it. Yeah, there's my rant. I've got to clean out the chill tub. Just got to chill. No, my rant is a rugby one. Is when teams kick away the ball when they've got advantage, as if they don't want to score.
Yeah, that's
Fair
that's
enough.
a good one.
It's a good
Yeah.
run.
Like, just try. You're going to get probably 10 phases. Try something, lads, please. Kicking it out, just aimlessly. I'm like, please try more. That's it. Rugby related for me.
Okay, well, we got a break from the URC this weekend because it's Challenge Cup and Champions Cup. Edinburgh v Bath, that is semi-final in the Challenge Cup. Oof, I haven't seen the teams yet, but Bath, I assume, would be taking this super seriously.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Bath. That is followed by Leinster Northampton in the Champions Cup. That's going to be a whopper.
Yeah, Croke Park.
If there's one team, well, there's a couple of teams, but Northampton's attack is so sharp.
Yeah.
And at some stage, they're going to get on the outside of that blitz defense or be able to break that blitz defense. That's the big question.
Henry Pollock, man of the match. That's what I'm going to go for.
No.
He's on fire.
He is on fire.
Leinster by 20.
Alex Mitchell, he
Finn
is
Smith
playing superbly well at the moment.
Yeah, there's all sorts of Lions selection debates in this game, isn't there? Is it Croke?
Yeah, Croke Park. Yeah, it was.
Geordie Barrett was so good at 12, wasn't he? In the last in the quarter final. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Like the complete performance.
Yeah.
Everyone's back in Leinster here, surely, lads.
Yeah, no, I'm back in Leinster.
Yeah, we are. Okay,
Leinster
so
by 10, 12.
that is followed on Sunday by Lyon versus Racing 92 in the Challenge Cup.
Going for Lyon.
Yep. I'm with you there. And then Bordeaux, Toulouse. Oh, what a weekend.
I'm on Bordeaux.
Upset Toulouse.
I'm going Bordeaux at home. Bordeaux at home.
Just too loose. Like, they're so loose with the ball, and Toulouse are going to score 30 points. It's just whether can Bordeaux score a few, score a few more. That game against Munster, letting them into, how is this even in the conversation now? But yeah, Toulouse are missing a few players as well. We just heard today Mavaka's out, Kinghorn's out, maybe obviously missing Dupont, but they've still got crazy squad.
Yeah, I'm going to go Toulouse as well. Just to clarify, Leinster Northampton is at the Aviva.
Oh, sorry, the Aviva. Apologies.
Yeah, so just want to clear that up. Lads, that is it. I really hope everyone enjoys the weekend of Challenge Cup and Champions Cup. I'm sorry we had a few sound issues at the start. We seem to have recovered that, and hopefully the show sounded a lot better. John, Stevie, thank you for joining me. Enjoy the weekend's rugby action, and we will speak to you after round 17 again. Take care.